Hi, I'm Ian Jukes. I am really excited to welcome you to the first session of our new Leadershift 2020 series. But before we get started, I want to welcome you to the Committed Sardine channel. You know, from our collective experiences as educators and educational consultants working in all sectors, it has been our regular observation that while there is significant research related to the process of bringing about change and reform in schools, the focus typically tends to be on single elements of an institution's performance rather than all of the components that make up that organization. I'm talking about single elements such as data-informed practice as a significant factor for change implementation, or using technology as an avenue to bring about change in teaching practices, or on leadership with a particular focus on leadership style, or professional development with a focus on either a smorgasbord approach or flavor of the month. Yeah, I think you know what I'm talking about here. And last but not least, student performance related to school rankings, learning outcomes, and the big one, funding. Research and change initiatives typically tend to focus on only a single or few aspects of an organization's performance, despite the clear evidence contained in the seminal works of respected thought leaders such as Senge, Fullen, Schwartz, and others, all of whom support the notion that decisions must be based on viewing schools as holistic systems comprised of many interconnected parts. Research also tells us that before a change is made or an initiative is undertaken, it is absolutely critical to first establish a baseline. Establishing a baseline involves taking a snapshot of the current state of teaching, learning, and assessment practices in an organization, as well as the infrastructure that supports these practices, and that this must be done before any changes are implemented. That's because it's critical to know where you are before you collectively determine where it is you want to go and how it is you're going to get there. Once a baseline has been established, the next step is to visually and viscerally identify and describe in specific detail what your end goals look like, what they feel like, what they taste like, what they smell like, how failure or success is going to be measured. Only then can you begin to build your roadmap, the step-by-step plan that outlines how you will get from where you are right now to where you want to be, including the identification of regular milestones or checkpoints between here and that preferred future. Now, in today's session, I will provide you with a brief overview of our Leadershift 2020 model. I want to begin with an overused quote, that being that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing you've always done, but expecting or wanting or needing completely different results. Or as late-night TV host Stephen Colbert explains, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing you've always done, but claiming everything has changed, even if nothing has changed. Either way, if we continue to do what we've always done, we will continue to get what we've always got. The challenge we face is that in this constantly changing landscape of the modern world, it demands a modern education that accurately reflects the times we live in. As we quickly discovered with the unanticipated, unwelcome, and devastating arrival of COVID-19, it really does take an entire village to raise a child. Educators, parents, and students have struggled trying to respond and adapt to the rapidly changing circumstances that have been brought on by this virus. The problem is that education can't survive, let alone thrive, in isolation from the world outside of education. That's because education is simultaneously a societal issue, challenge, and responsibility. The Leadershift 2020 series is based on our book, Leadershift 2020, Reinventing Our Schools for Extraordinary and Uncertain Times. Now, as an aside, we find the title of the series in the book to be ironic, as we most definitely needed 2020 vision to get through 2020, and we'll definitely need 2020 vision as we move forward through 2021 and beyond. That's why this series is specifically designed to inform, support, and inspire educational leaders by combining authentic stories of exemplary leadership practice together with an overview of a collection of research-based, pressure-tested tools and resources that we use to guide educational leaders working to shift the paradigm of teaching, learning, and assessment in their educational communities. This series introduces viewers to a comprehensive strategic visioning and planning process, and it profiles tools that will engage stakeholders in a collaborative decision-making and goal development process that can be used to formulate and execute a shared 2020 vision for schools. But what sets this series apart from other leadership models is that Leadership 2020 is about much, much more than just the creation of a shared vision and goals. The series also examines the cultural and pedagogical shift that takes place as stakeholders come together for honest, equitable, and fact-driven conversations. Now, there's lots more than I've been able to describe here, but I'm running out of time. If you're interested, make sure to come back for more. In the meantime, I want to thank you for joining me for the first session in our Leadership 2020 series. Make sure to join me for my next session when we'll examine how you can align the thinking of your stakeholders as the first step towards establishing a baseline analysis of your organization's current status, as well as tools and techniques that you can use to begin the process of charting the course to your 2020 vision. Now, if you enjoyed this brief session of Leadership 2020, make sure to leave a comment below. And if you have any suggestions for other sessions that you'd like to see, make certain to contact me. Also, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell icon so that you'll be notified when new videos in the series are posted. In the meantime, I want to thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon for another session of Leadership 2020.